Kamala Harris is making the hurricanes that just ravaged the Southeast all about her. She's been dueling with Governor DeSantis in TV interviews about who's really prioritizing hurricane relief and who's just playing politics.
People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Right.
My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me. But I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. Right. It's about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be.
After Hurricane Helene wiped out parts of North Carolina and the Gulf Coast of Florida, Harris got blamed for the slow rollout of disaster relief from FEMA. Now that these hurricanes are a liability for her campaign, with less than a month to go before Election Day, she's finally getting involved. And by that, I mean she's filming political ads.
How you doing?
Here we go again, ma'am. I'm in Tampa right at the moment. This one is going to be a bad event.
You were mentioning to me some of the concerns around mis and disinformation.
How's that playing out?
Well, it's just a shame. There was a lot of misinformation that really was not helpful.
She made a promise to the mayor of St. Petersburg that she had no control over.
I know that you had requested that FEMA have a full-service disaster recovery center in St. Petersburg, and that has been confirmed that that has happened, and they're working with you to determine the right location.
It's giving We Did It, Joe.
We did it, Joe. You're gonna be the next president of the United States.
What's with Kamala Harris incessantly filming herself making phone calls?
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate?
But we know this is fake, because just the other day, Harris was cracking open a cold one and cackling uncontrollably, as she always does, with Stephen Colbert. Not a care in the world.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
So cheers.
Cheers.
There you go.
That interview was another doozy. She keeps fumbling this very simple question.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I noticed.
And so that would be one change in terms of...
Yes.
But also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
Very illuminating. Thank you, Kamala. Actually, since she took a shot at Trump, here's what he's been doing to prepare for the hurricanes in Florida. He put up 275 linemen at his resort in Miami so they'd be ready to go for the emergency response to Hurricane Milton. And Trump's not even the president. Speaking of, Biden has risen to the occasion to work with DeSantis on the hurricane response. However, he's also humorously excluded Kamala from the big boy table.
Mr. President, does Governor DeSantis need to take Vice President Harris's calls?
All I can tell you is I'm talking to Governor DeSantis. He's been very gracious. He's thanked me for all we've done. He knows what we're doing, and I think that's important. I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call.
I imagine this is infuriating for Kamala and deeply satisfying for Trump.
You know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her.
But look, federal and state collaboration on rebuilding after a hurricane should not be political. But Kamala is the one making this political.
It's profound, and it is the height of irresponsibility and, frankly, callousness.
Yeah.
So lives are literally at stake right now.
That was in response to this question.
Trump is lying, claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid from the areas where Republicans live, and that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants. Ironically, that is something he did in 2019. What do you think the effect of these lies are, and why is he doing this?
It is a fact that offshoot programs of FEMA have spent more than $1 billion on services for illegal immigrants over the past year. It is a fact that Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas warned last week that FEMA has insufficient funds to last through the hurricane season.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds, FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
To be sure, Congress recently provided $20 billion for FEMA's disaster relief fund as part of a short-term government spending bill. And the federal government is sending additional aid to North Carolina for its recovery effort. Biden said he granted the state's request for a 100% federal cost share for debris removal and emergency protective measures for 6 months. But the Shelter and Services Program, administered by FEMA in partnership with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, between fiscal year 2023 and 2024 gave at least $1 billion to NGOs to help migrants. In just 2024, over $20 million of that went to the New York City Office of Management and Budget. New York City gave $4,000 grants to 150 migrant families to help with the cost of transitioning from city shelters to permanent housing. Eligible families can also receive up to $1,000 in gift cards for household necessities and moving expenses, according to the report. What did Hurricane Helene victims in North Carolina get?
The federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met.
Since Kamala couldn't score any Christie Obama-style photo ops after the hurricane, she did her best to score points with the folks watching at home, calling into the Weather Channel to explain how hurricanes work.
It's important that we not emphasize that downgrading has happened because, in fact, the difference between Category 5 and Category 4 in terms of the danger and the damage is pretty much the same.
Reminds me of the time when she woman-splained the Russia-Ukraine war.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
On behalf of America, Kamala, please stop talking to us like we're kindergartners. But you know what they say, never let a crisis go to waste. With just weeks to go before the election, even though she didn't show an ounce of interest during Hurricane Beryl in Texas or Hurricane Helene, Kamala is desperately trying to use Hurricane Milton to her political advantage. Speaking of political gimmicks to gain brownie points ahead of 2024, Kamala Harris is trying to turn her husband, Doug, into this champion for women, this torchbearer of reformed masculinity, and to find out more about his checkered past, click here.